We've got hometown pride at Monjay's IGA discount in Sulphur. Some of our weekly specials include fresh ground beef, 98 cents a pound, Citrus Hill orange juice, 64 ounces, $1.29, Seneca apple juice, 12 ounces, 89 cents, Green Giant corn on the cob, 6-ear package, 79 cents, and TV biscuits, 5 for $1. These prices are good through April 4th. Be picky, shop Monjay's IGA.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Maury County News. We've got some good news for the Sulphur-Davis area on our new alert system. We've got Nick Swacky in the studio with us today, and we've got that thing pretty well on the way. Welcome back, Nick.
Hello, BJ.
Well, we've got to the point now that we've got our check. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Right here, I have a copy of the check for $3,019, of which Harmon Cable donated $1,500, and the city of Sulphur and the city of Davis each contributed $750 towards the purchase of the emergency alert system, which will be, the order was placed and the check was put in the mail today, and hopefully the unit will be sent to us on Monday or Tuesday of next week, and hopefully in another week or so after next Monday we'll have the unit in place.
Now, you talked to those folks yesterday, didn't you, Nick? And they said, we have the unit. As soon as they get our certified check, they'll forward it to us.
Yeah, they said they'd send it overnight UPS to us.
Okay, now, Nick, let's just use a little time schedule here to give the folks some kind of idea how long it will take us to do this. Say we did get the thing within the next 4 or 5 days. How long would it take you and your crew to get it installed, and let's check it out and have it operational?
Yeah, we'll do the preliminaries as far as providing the space for it and getting the wiring set up. So by the time we get it in, we should be able to get it installed just immediately. We'll just take it right out there and get a hold of you, and then we'll do some testing on it.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll have it in time for any more severe storms.
Good. Nick, while we were talking with the both councils here in Sulphur and in Davis, they were asking some of the questions about maintaining that. There will not be a great deal of maintenance to it anyway, will there?
No, sir. It's a self-contained unit that ties right into our system, and this equipment, part of the reason it's this expensive is it is a commercial grade piece of gear, and it's designed to be reliable and have a long life. So it's just something we're very pleased to be able to present to the community and to our customers, something that really will augment your warnings that you do provide. And I do want to say something to you, PJ. I really appreciate your effort. I want to acknowledge to our customers that BJ was really very much the wheel behind this, the one that pushed this forward. When I came to work for Harmon, he started talking to me, and it's taken us about a year to get this whole thing pulled together. And I also want to thank each of the city councils for voting us the funds, and that's made this possible. And I think to have this in place will be a real benefit for the civil defense on an ongoing basis.
There's one thing about it too, Nick, that we need not lose sight of, and Harmon Cablevision give half of this, so that y'all give $1,500 and each city gives $750. Now, if you will, Nick, just reiterate just a little bit for the folks that haven't heard our explanation before. How will this system work when we get it in place?
Okay, at the point that the civil defense, the Maury County Civil Defense Director or whoever's in charge of this determines that the sirens should be sounded, that there is imminent storms, they can activate this unit through a telephone line to our head-end. And when they activate it, no matter what channel you're on, if you have your television on the Cablevision, it will blank out the picture and give you a 5-second of a siren sound, a warble siren sound.
You could hear it any place in the house,
that would be louder than the regular sound that would be on the television. And then after this 5 seconds, then it switches to where whoever's called it can make the announcement, and it will make the announcement right over your television, so that, for instance, if you dial it up, you can say a storm is imminent, you need to seek shelter. And it can be used not only for storms, but for any other type of announcement, you know, emergency announcements. For instance, if we did have a train derailment in Davis that was spewing some kind of hazardous chemical out, you could use this to alert people in that vicinity to evacuate. So it's just a means that we can go directly into all of our cable customers' homes and make this announcement over their television. And it doesn't matter what channel they're on.
Now this will be audio only.
Yes, sir.
The screen will go black, but you can hear the voice then.
It'll override, it just turns to where that announcement is on all the channels. On the
Nick,
audio.
from the time one of the people that will have the code picks up the phone, how long will it be between that point and when they actually hear the warning?
It's just a case that the machine answers the call, and then it immediately when it's activated, it immediately sounds so it's just a very, very quick response within 10 or 15 seconds.
Okay, so the time we
activate.
Okay, that would be the quickest possible way to get any type of warning to the populace, wouldn't it?
Certainly.
And the best feature about it, Nick, it'll cut in on any channel, HBO, Showtime, Disney, anything on Cablevision, it'll cut in on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Nick, if when we get our system in and we get it to the checking point, if you would come back and let's talk about it a little bit, and then we'll tell the people when we're going to check it, and then people can watch out.
Coordinate a test, and what I want to do is let each community test it.
Okay.
And just make sure it's all operating and people understand what it is, and you know, that get it all operational, and then like I say, we'll have this hopefully in 7 to 10 days in place. Might be a little longer, but should be in that kind of frame.
The quicker the better.
Yes, sir.
Nick, we appreciate all you guys are doing. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Folks, we had our ID judging contest over at Davis today. They had a lot of folks parading through the Arctic Food Locker over there. We've got an interview with Harold Oakley and a lot of that on tape, and we'll show you that right after this commercial message.
Get your prescriptions family's Health Mart store.
All of my life I've just been waiting for this day to come, with my ears reverberating to a different drum. It's been a lonely, hard campaign, but I had to live my life in vain. Anything worth fighting for is worth the maximum.
For 10 spectacular days next July, Oklahoma hosts U.S. Olympic Festival 89.
Murray County's hallmark is Billy's Giftery at 216 East Main in Davis. We've enlarged our store to add more lines of party goods and supplies. For your country home, Billy's has wooden shelves, collectibles, and plaques. Scent your home with root candles, perfumed room sprays, and simmering potpourri. Our Kids Corner is just the right place to find something for that someone sick or just a pick-me-up. All right here at Billy's Giftery, the hallmark of Murray County.
Folks, we do have our Murray County Meat Identification Contest over at the Arctic Food Locker in Davis. Harold Oakley has been putting this thing on for many, many years. He has seen a lot of students come and go through this ID contest, and we do appreciate Harold and all he does, and the cowbells also. Harold tells me that the cowbells have been with him ever since he started this, about some 35 years ago. The cowbells have been serving refreshments at every one of these that they do. We had a real nice interview with Harold Oakley today, and he explained some of the background behind this, some of the things that's happened through the years. It's real interesting, so let's watch that now.
BJ?
Harold Oakley, you tell me that you've been doing this 35 years.
Yes, sir. We've been doing this for 35 years with the young people.
Harold, make a wild guess. Now, you've done this 35 years. Roy Providence tells me that you'll probably have about 100 youngsters through here today. How many youngsters do you think you've had filed through on this ID contest?
It went from 200 down to 121 last year. It started out about 200 kids when we really started and got it rolling. It wasn't that much at the first because we were just taking the women, the girls.
Yeah.
And my wife got involved in this thing, and they had 4 boys, so she got all of the boys involved in it back in about 1962. And since then, it has been that. And I'm holding up a couple of things here that I'm real proud of. The Davis Elementary says, to Harold Oakley for service for the Davis Elementary 4-H Club. And this right here, BJ, is the cuts, and that's where they taught me how to cut the cuts if they needed. See? And so I hang it on the wall. Then the Murray County kids got together and built this thing and presented it to me, and I am so proud of it. I have it on my counter, and I want to show you a little quirk right here. This right here is my brand. When the young people came in, their faces was a little bit sad because they said, Harold, we've got to take this back and fix it because that's supposed to be an H. I said, young people, you've got it fixed just right. Everything I own is in my wife's name, and her name is Imogene Oakley, so you've got the brand just right. So we've had a lot of fun with it, and the young people come in and look at it, and it's still staying there.
Harold, now you've got the Davis youngsters in here
Right.
this morning. I know that you
42 of them.
42 kids.
Yeah.
You got Debbie Sharp and Dorothy
Jameson,
Jameson and Alan Richardson all here with them.
Right.
Now, if you will, how does this work now? Do they just change stations every few minutes?
Right. They've got 1 minute, and you blow a whistle. I put out 25 different cuts of meat. Normally I have sheep, beef, and pork. At this time, it's going to be the beef and pork. I've got 25 cuts, and then we always have a special. We've had everything from elephant's ears to raccoons to pheasants to chickens to everything. Possums, we've had everything. Snakes, we've had everything. But the young people have a lot of fun with that, and we do too. And the Murray County Cowbells, they come and help us each year. I see Mrs. Burke Healy's over here with a bunch of cookies and Cokes, and they've been doing this the same length of time we've been involved. Cookies and Coke for every one of these young people. And we're expecting 150 people today, and so we're prepared for that.
Harold, go back 30 years when you first started. What prompted you to start this project?
There was a lady here that was a home economist, saw a need for this, and I'm getting so old I can't remember the names, but this lady and George Seals decided that it would be a real opportune thing, and it was done over the other state, and our kids hadn't been involved. You see, they supposedly go from this Murray County to a district over at Ada and then to the state in Oklahoma City. And our kids in the past have won, and they've been the #1 in the state of Oklahoma with some of this. And there's a little girl that her daddy was a herdsman over at Turner's Ranch. And she participated in this thing, and she went on from here to OSU and became the purchaser of all of the meat for this Oklahoma University. And she is right now a veterinarian as a herdsman out at Hereford, Texas. And again, old Harold slipped her my name. I can't think of her name to say my neck, and but she hugs my neck every time I see her. And I'm so sorry I can't remember her name. But
Well, if you can remember it, call me, Harold, and we'll get it on when we run this little interview.
All right.
Listen, we appreciate all you're doing over here, and I know you got a lot more kids coming today. So
Well, I appreciate Channel 7. You know, you do a lot of community work, and I appreciate Bill Mayo and you and the family that does it.
And the old boy running the camp.
That old boy behind him, you know, when you look at old Neil Mayo, you just think how pretty a wife he's got. See, that's what you do on it. But I do appreciate it more
Thank
than
you,
you
Harold.
guys.
Appreciate it. Folks, that's Harold Oakley. Like I say, he's been putting this ID contest on for many, many years. We appreciate him. Both Sulphur Davis, Joy, and Darty was represented there today. And they should have been through by now they should be through with their people, their youngsters going through there. Like Harold said, they do have a special meet each year just so the youngsters can get a little contrast. And this year was a quail. I know last year or year before last, I think Harold had a possum there, and the kids get a lot of kick out of trying to figure out what it is. But there is a lot of enthusiasm amongst those youngsters as they go in, and they do have their refreshments there when they get through with their their judging part of it. There's plenty of cookies and cokes for them furnished by the Cowbells. And like I say, we had Debbie Sharp and Roy Providence with the county extension office was there, and also the teachers. Alan Richardson was there. He was driving the bus for them today. Dorothy Jameson was there, and Dorothy is the Davis Teacher of the Year, and she's going to be recognized on May the 6th, I think she said. We'll try to get over at that meeting, get some shots of Dorothy and her award when she is presented with that award. Folks, we got several more items coming up. The Murray County Extension Homemakers did have their dress review, a real good one. They got another one coming up Saturday. We got some shots of that and some more information on it. But first, let's break for this commercial message.
We've got hometown pride at Monjay's IGA Discount in Sulphur. Some of our weekly specials include fresh ground beef, 98 cents a pound, Citrus Hill orange juice, 64 ounces, $1.29, Seneca apple juice, 12 ounces, 89 cents, Green Giant corn on the cob, 6-ear package, 79 cents, and TV biscuits, 5 for $1. These prices are good through April 4th. Be picky, shop Monjay's IGA.
We're going to show you the best time on TV in 1989. Look forward to the greatest music superstars from locations around the world. HBO World Stage, 1989.
Hi, Murray County. This is Bill Mayo with TV7, and you know it's springtime. It's time to clean up, and we'd like for you to do your part in cleaning up Murray County.
It's time to take pride in our communities, so let's spruce up those business fronts and keep those yards clean. Painting, landscaping, and just fixing up can make a world of difference. So clean up Murray County. It makes good sense.
Folks, we did have our Rainbow of Fashions. Now, that is the Murray County Extension Homemakers Dress Review out at the Murray County Courthouse yesterday. Judging was from 10 until 12, and then the luncheon was up at 12 to 1, and then they started their style show. We've got some of this on tape with some sound and some beautiful dresses, so let's just watch and listen to that.
You hit her leg.
The top is a pullover blouse, is gathered into tight lower band and has long sleeves. Fall, never got around to making it, but during the bad weather. 100% polyester black and white material. It's a loose-fitting dress with pleats on the side skirt. It has long, full sleeves and with button cuffs. This is Frederick pattern 3525, and Johnny gets a blue ribbon. Velma dress is polyester and rayon. It's a very loose-fitting bodice with front pleats and a flared skirt with front pleats. It has a back zipper and above elbow sleeves. This is Frederick pattern 3361, and Velma gets a blue ribbon. This group is Ruby Creighton. Our next, the bodice is the top cut from the overalls. It has a gathered skirt attached at the waistline. She wears it with a t-shirt and tennis shoes. It's real comfortable. Well, how cute.
That's Giovanna Urson there. That is the recycled clothing. She made that dress out of some overhauls, they say, and it looks great. But they did have a real good time on that review, and now they've got another one scheduled for Saturday, and this is for the youngsters. It will be at 1. Actually, the thing starts now at 9:30. There'll be entries will be entered in from 9:30 to 10. Competition will start at 10:15, and that also will be the judging and style show. Johnny Mobley will be the narrator of this one. If you didn't recognize the narrator of the other one, that was Paula Pollard from Davis, and she was narrating that one. But Johnny will be narrating the youngsters, and it will start at 10:15. Everybody's welcome. They've got a lot of things on hand there. Plus, they will be having a working women's division. That's office wear and sportswear. We'll try to get out and get you some shots of those youngsters those Saturday and bring that to you on Monday, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Folks, they're going to have a free car wash over at Davis on April the 1st. It'll start at 9 a.m. It will be at the Steve Hall Car Wash. It's sponsored by the Davis High School Key Club, and they will be doing it all day long, or they say until everybody gets their car washed, it looks like. So turn out for that now. It will be at the Steve Hall Car Wash on April the 1st. And we're going to have a Artesia Home Queen Pageant. That'll be on Friday, May the 31st at 2 p.m. We will try to get out and get you some shots on that, folks, because they're going to have all the past queens there. That's going to be something to see. We'll get out and talk to those ladies. I want to remind you, too, now that you're going to have to move your clocks forward Saturday night before you go to bed so you won't be late Sunday. You move them forward 1 hour. Folks, Maury County Commissioners will hold a special meeting Friday morning at 10 a.m. It will be at the regular meeting place there. It will be to discuss the ouster of the court clerk Tommy Thompson, who has been charged with embezzling county funds. District Attorney Fred Collins filed Monday against Thompson 2 counts of embezzlement and 1 count of failing to make daily deposits. She is accused of embezzling $600 from the federally funded program, the Big Five, and $184 used in pay a traffic fine. Thomas has served as the court clerk since 1984 when she ran against incumbent Jerry Brown, and she's been there ever since. And last year she had no opponent, so she was installed as for another 4 years. She said she refused to suspend herself, so that's why the district attorney has started these procedures. Her preliminary hearing has been set for May the 9th, and her attorney in Oklahoma City said he is going to conduct his own investigation of the Maury County financial records. So we'll keep a touch on that, be at the meeting Friday morning over to County Commissioners, and we'll bring that to you at 12:30. Folks, this is the time of the year now that we have tornadoes here in our area. We've got a lot of people that have been helping us, and we're getting ready. We've got a lot of spotters that we can get out into the field now. So if you will, keep tuned to KFNC and Channel 7, and we will try to inform you as soon as possible if we do have any severe weather in the area. And like Nick was talking a while ago, if we can get this new system installed sometime the first couple of weeks in April, we'll test it, and it will be another means that we can alert you when we do have a tornado. Stay away from windows, doors, and outside walls, folks, if you do hear the sirens go. If in the home or small buildings, go to the basement or to an interior part of the lowest level that you can reach. Try to put as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can. If you're in a public place, move to a pedestrian shelter. If they don't have one, go to an interior hallway on the lowest floor possible. If you're outdoors with no shelter available, lie flat in a ditch or any indentation in the ground and shield your head, because that is, like Dan Thrill called it, that is your computer, and you surely don't want that thing damaged. So get to the lowest possible way. If you're in a mobile home or a car, do the same thing. Get to a ditch. Don't stay in your car or in a mobile home. You need to get to a ditch or under a culvert or anything that'll get you to the lowest level possible. A tornado watch now is a tornado and severe weather are possible. They're just possible for the area that we are in. If you hear a tornado warning, that is when we sound the sirens. That means a tornado is detected and you need to take shelter immediately. The siren warning here in Maury County, both Sulphur and Davis, is anything over 1 blast, you need to start taking shelter. The Davis blast is 3 blasts of about 3 minutes each, and the Sulphur is 6 blasts. So if you do hear anything of that nature, take cover immediately so we can get everybody in Maury County to a safe shelter. And we do have a lot of shelters in Sulphur Davis. The elementary school and the middle school in Davis are both good shelters, and we have several right here in Sulphur area. Folks, we will have a special meeting tomorrow now, Thursday, March the 30th, and it will be the Sulphur Municipal Authority special trust meeting. They've got 2 items on the agenda that they want to take care of. It will be held at the City Hall starting at 6 p.m. First item is discuss and possible action on awarding a contract for the wastewater treatment plant to the lowest bidder, subject to approval by the Oklahoma State Health Department. The other item on the agenda for tomorrow afternoon at 6 p.m. will be for discussion and possible action to a bidding agent of the city for the supplies and equipment for the waste treatment plant. So they're trying to get that done by this month, and that's the reason for that. Folks, if you have not got this letter that was sent out to you folks here in Sulphur by the superintendent, Lloyd Snow, he sent this home by the students Monday. He does need these by tomorrow morning, just as quickly as you can. All you got to do is answer this 3 questions right here at the bottom, sign your name, let your student bring that back to the school system and either give it to the teacher or Mr. Green or to the superintendent's office. But they do need this back so they can make some decisions, and they want your input on it. So the quicker the better on that, folks. Folks, that's about all the time we got for today. It's Channel 7 News. I'm B.J. Fields. Thanks for watching.
Murray County, Oklahoma's hidden paradise comes alive at the Gift Corner at Monjay's IGA. Open from 10 to 9 daily and 1 to 5 Sunday, the Gift Corner has all kinds of collector items, colognes, stuffed animals, helium balloons, greeting cards, jewelry, just too many items to mention. So come on in and see for yourself. We now have a larger bridal registry and gift section to serve you better. With items arriving daily, you're sure to find what you want at the Gift Corner in Sulphur. Cooper's in Davis, Murray County's general store, is the spot to stop for quality Napa auto parts. We've got the part you need at a price you want. Fast service and helpful assistance makes Cooper's and Napa auto parts #1 with our customers. Houseware, hardware, hunting and camping. Brought to you in part by Monjay's IGA and Cooper's in Davis. We'll be back right after this. Cooper's in Davis, Murray County's general store, is the spot to stop for quality Napa auto parts. We've got the part you need at a price you want. Fast service and helpful assistance makes Cooper's and Napa auto parts #1 with our customers. Houseware, hardware, hunting and camping supplies. Murray County's general store is Cooper's in Davis. We've got hometown pride at Monjay's IGA discount in Sulphur. Some of our weekly specials include fresh ground beef, 98 cents a pound. Citrus Hill orange juice, 64 ounces, $1.29. Seneca apple juice, 12 ounces, 89 cents. Green Giant corn on the cob, 6-ear package, 79 cents. And TV biscuits, 5 for $1. These prices are good through April 4th. Be picky, shop Monjay's IGA.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Murray County News. We have Bob Green with us today. Bob is the principal right here of the school system. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
Bob, y'all got so doggone many things going on. I don't know where to start, but if you will, since I had Lloyd Snow in the other day and he was telling us about this letter that you have mailed out now.
Right. We passed it out to the kids on Monday, and they started turning it in yesterday.
Now, if anybody in the viewing audience still has one, they've still got time to get it in today. Is that right?
Right. Bring it by the superintendent's office.
Okay. So you're going to start tabulating today?
This afternoon. Right.
Okay. What's our next step on that now, Bob?
Once we get all the surveys back and can tabulate them, we'll have a meeting and kind of talk about the results, and then we'll present that information to the Board of Education. Okay. And I assume they will decide next steps.
Good. Okay, that's great. You know, I had never heard that being done before. Have you done it before in your other
surveying parents?
Yeah.
Yes, surveyed parents on different issues and things, and that way you can let your public know exactly what's going on, and you can hear from them. So it's a good two-way communication system.
They have a little input that way, don't they? That's great. It's a good idea. I'm glad you say it's real successful. Make just a stab at it right now, Bob. About what percentage you think's returned back into
I would say we've got 50 to 60% returned at this point, at least at the high school. And these were also passed out at the middle school and I believe to the fourth graders. So anyone that had a stake in it for next year, the surveys were sent home to the parents.
That's great, isn't it?
So hopefully we'll get a good, accurate response back.
Sure, well, you should. That'll let you know what the people think about it anyway. Now, Bob, tonight we've got a ball game of the baseball teams here in Sulphur.
Right, doubleheader.
Doubleheader. Is the field good and dry?
They're working on it. They've been working on it all morning to get the infield in good shape. They've got all the water off of it yesterday afternoon, and it's been drying really well with the wind and conditions. So we're planning on playing at 4 o'clock.
If we don't get any more rain between now and 4. Bob, we've got 4 shots at the people that they can see the home team this year right here in Sulphur. This is just one of those. We got 2 after this one, haven't we?
Right. We've got doubleheader with our county rivals, Davis. Then we have Vanos coming to town, April 10th to play a doubleheader. And then later in April we have Kanawha. And then another possibility might be the state tournament if we get the regional or the district here.
Oh, good.
Last year we hosted the district.
Great.
So hopefully we can get that again.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
We've got one of the best fields and facilities in this part of the state, so I'd say we've got a good chance of hosting that again.
That breaks us up to why I invited you in, and that's another good, our track is one of the best in the state too. Now we're going to have a big invitational this weekend, Bob. Tell us a little bit about who, why, and where, and all the details that you can.
Okay, this is the annual Sulphur Invitational Track Meet, and a new wrinkle this year, we're having a 9th grade boys and girls division, so there will actually be 4 divisions, where in the past they've had 2. And we anticipate there will be at least 60 teams involved in the 4 different levels. That'll be 15, average of 15 to each level. And if you say 60 teams do show up, 10 members to each team, that's 600 students.
Jiminy.
And then there are coaches
moms and daddies.
Moms and dads that come to watch, and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and so forth. So we may have a crowd bordering 1,000 down at the track on Saturday.
That's going to be wonderful, isn't it?
Right.
Bob, what time does the track meet actually start?
It'll get kicked off about 9 o'clock. Field events may start a little earlier than that. Teams will start showing up about 7:30. Okay. Coaches always like to get there early and get their teams warmed up. And then they have coaches meetings and so forth. So I'd say about 8 o'clock there will start really being some activity down there. Actual competition will start about 9 o'clock and proceed through the day.
Do the teams have to check in with someone here in Sulphur prior to the start of the track meet?
Right. Coach Duck mailed out invitations, Coach Duck and Coach Day.
Okay.
And they're the 2 sponsors for the track meet, and they are in charge. And had a lot of coaches and teams calling them this past week and mailing in their entry fees and their letters and everything. So that'll be the people in charge. We've also invited the different civic clubs and organizations to help us out at this track meet by working and so forth. And they'll also need to report to Coach Duck and Coach Day if anybody's interested in working.
Early that morning.
Right.
You're going to have some traffic help, aren't you? There's going to be a lot of cars and buses
right,
here.
There'll be a lot of cars and buses here. And
should the Sulphur people and the Murray County people maybe park over by the gym or somewhere, Bob, to kind of relieve this stadium parking lot?
That might help if we can get people to park over in the high school parking lot. That would ease a lot of congestion around the stadium itself. Okay. So just come on out and they can be the best judge of that.
Have you got some kind of agenda how things are going to progress that day, what events is going to be in the morning hours and what events is going to be in the afternoon hours?
The order of events, Coach Duck is out of town today at another track meet, but he'll have the order of events. We'll start off with the field events and try to get those well underway before the running events start. And they'll have a natural progression where we can go right through the events and let everybody participate in all the events. Sometimes if you're coaching track, you're aware of this, but if you're sitting in the stands, you may not be. You may have a runner that's running 100-yard dash for you. He may also be your high jumper and your long jumper,
and on your relay.
Right, and he gets a call to be in 3 places at one time. So sometimes you have to scramble to get everybody around and be well organized.
It takes a lot of organization to get this thing together, doesn't it?
Tremendous amount of work.
If everything goes according to plan, Bob, what time you think it'll be over Saturday afternoon?
Well, in years past, we've usually been done around 5 to 6 o'clock. It just depends on how many teams and how smooth everything goes. And our people here are veterans at this. They've worked them before. We've always been complimented on how well the meets are run off, and I think that's a credit to our coaching staff because they are the ones that do the work setting it up.
I talked to Coach Duck last night. He seemed to be getting really enthused about it and excited. That's good.
Teams like to come to Sulphur because of our excellent facility and also because of the excellent way meets are run off. Everybody gets a fair shot. We treat them real well, and they're pleased when they go home.
That says a lot for the city, doesn't it, Bob?
Right.
Well, now, I know you've got teams from all over, as far away as you say Oklahoma City might have some people here?
Yes, we've had some Oklahoma City schools come in the past. I know I've taken a couple of calls this week myself from Oklahoma City coaches who are wanting to bring their teams down and giving them information. So we'll probably have 2 or 3 city teams come down, and then teams in the area like Purcell that in Pauls Valley we normally compete with, and then Plainview and Dixon, Lone Grove. We also expect Idabel, and Idabel is always one of the toughest teams in the state.
About the farthest away, too.
Right. And we, on the one hand, we hate to see them come because they're always such a strong team, but on the other hand, they're good performers and they give us good competition and they're good sportsmen.
Well, that's what you want anyway. It's a lot of good competition.
Right.
Bob, now, what time should people get there if they're going to try to make a day of it? You think they'll get kicked off around 9-ish then, somewhere?
I'd say 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay. But if they want to get a good seat, you're going to have to get there early, aren't
you bet. You bet. I might also add we're going to have a concession stand with sandwiches and drinks and snacks.
Well, you'll have both of them open, won't you, Bob? Both.
I believe just one.
Really, just the main one?
On the track meets, they usually just open on the one side because that's where everybody sits.
Okay, good enough. Bob, while I've got you here, we need to touch base on our prom just a little bit. I know you've had a couple of meetings. How is everything going on that now?
Going real smooth. The parents are organized and already have their work underway, and we've got a good response and good enthusiasm, as we always do. The parents are, I really appreciate that. I was visiting with one of my teachers about the prom this morning and talking about how smooth it goes here, and I think a lot of that goes to the parents.
Yeah.
A lot of credit.
You get a lot of help, don't you?
You bet, and that makes it easy.
Okay, now it's going to be on April the 21st.
Yes, sir.
At the cafeteria.
Right.
What time will the promenade be?
Promenade will start at 6:45, as in years past, in front of the auditorium.
Okay.
Students will march in, and people are invited to come down. We always open up a viewing time where people can come in and see the decorations.
Good.
We ask that they do that well before the promenade starts. If they could come in, say between 5 and 6 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll have it open where they can look at it, and we want to invite them in to see it. But also, when our kids start coming in, we need it cleared out.
Good. Okay. And then the prom will actually start at 9:30.
Right. Prom will go from 9:30 to 12:30.
Bob, sounds like you guys are on the ball, and I know you're going to be busy this weekend. I hope I get to see you down there at the track.
One other thing I might add, this Friday night, we've got our annual Sadie Hawkins dance. That's the one where the girls invite the boys. So
that's going to be a lot of fun, too.
We're having a big time this weekend.
Well, Bob, we appreciate it, and just keep doing a good job down there.
Thank you, sir.
Folks, we had Bill Bunning with the National Weather Service come by and visit with us here just a few days ago. Bill's brand new with the National Weather Service, and he is going to be working real closely with the Civil Defense right here in Murray County this year. We've got a real good interview with him. We'll be showing you that right after this commercial message.
After a hard day of work on Monday, enjoy yourself with a special night out at Tomasi's Pizza Kitchens in Davis. Every Monday, we have an all-you-can-eat special that includes pizza, spaghetti, and salad for only $3.99. Kids, only $1.49. Every day of the week, you can turn one medium pizza into two with our 2-for-1 special. For free delivery in Davis, call 369-2440. That's Tomasi Pizza Kitchens, Highway 7 and 77 in Davis.
Picking produce can be pretty tricky, so leave it to the pros. Stanley, IGA sells only Dole or Del Monte bananas.
Now that we have your attention, please remember our simple message. IGA sells only the best produce.
The best looking, the best tasting, and the best for you. We guarantee it, or you get double your money back. Be picky. Shop IGA. Thank you.
If you're looking for great savings, come on into Cooper's, Murray County's general store. From auto parts to light fixtures, duct tape to lawnmowers, we've got what you need to get the job done. So don't just sit there. Get those little honeydews done by coming to Cooper's for expert service and instruction. Cooper's, 207 East Main in Davis, Murray County's general store.
Folks, we do work very closely with the National Weather Service. We appreciate them, and also the TV stations in Oklahoma City with the Doppler radar helps us quite a bit down here. Every time we get a watch, we usually talk to those people several times during that night or day on the telephone, and they keep us informed exactly what's going on in and around Murray County. And Bill Bunning is new with the National Weather Service, but he's a very experienced individual. He has been working on the Tornado Chasers team for about 3 years, so he knows what he's talking about when he visits with about tornadoes. We got a real good interview with Bill, so let's watch that now. Bill, let me welcome you to Murray County and Channel 7. We appreciate you making the trip down. And, how many have you made this year, Bill? How many training sessions have you?
This is about the 12th or 13th talk I've given now since mid-February.
Mid-February. And how many more you got to go?
I've got about 10 more.
God. Well, if you will now, before we get into the purpose that we've invited you down, tell us a little bit about Bill, where you went to school, how you got your training, how you got to go to work for the National Weather Service, and things of that nature.
Well, I graduated from OU in 1985. I was born in Virginia, went to school for 3 years out in Norfolk, Virginia, at Old Dominion University. Mm-hmm. Came out here because I love severe storms and I love tornadoes, and they said if you wanted to study them, come to Oklahoma. So I came out here. And like I said, graduated in 85 and then joined the National Weather Service, worked in New York City for a year, worked in Lansing, Michigan for a little over a year, then came back here in the summer of 87. Mm-hmm. And I've been here ever since.
Well, Bill, have you done a lot of studying then on tornadoes and tornadic activity?
Done quite a bit. Used to chase with the National Severe Storms Laboratory. I was a research assistant there. And I think severe storms forecasting is probably my specialty within meteorology.
Is it getting easier now, Bill, to determine where a tornado is going to set down?
We still can't determine exactly where, but we're getting better at determining what types of conditions exist in the atmosphere that will lead to those types of thunderstorms that can produce tornadoes. Okay. So we're still a ways away from being able to predict where and when exactly, but I think we're in the right direction.
Well, now, I know that they were rigging up the NEXRAD last year when I was up at Norman. Have they got that in place and working now?
We're testing it this spring.
Good. So now how is that going to help us over the old Doppler radar, Bill?
NEXRAD is a computer-driven Doppler radar, which means that it will take a lot of data that we would in the past have to look at just visually and try to determine what's happening. But the computers in NEXRAD, it will take that data and it will put it in such a manner that we can look at it quickly and learn quite a bit about what's happening within that storm, how severe it is, the likelihood for a tornado, the likelihood for strong damaging winds, which way it's moving and how fast. Information that in the past we've had to look at visually just with our eyes and try to determine. Now the computers will help us do that.
Are you going to, will it check different levels of the atmosphere then and try to, and it'll help you that way?
Most definitely. NEXRAD takes about 14 different scans through different layers of the atmosphere every few minutes, and it lets us know what that storm looks like, not only near the ground, but as you go higher up in that storm.
And then by looking at the storm up in higher altitudes, you can determine whether you've got tornadic activities up there and the likelihood that it'll hit the ground.
Most significant and strong tornadoes usually develop in the mid-level part of the storm first and then descend towards the ground. So it's important to see not only what's happening near the ground, but up in the higher levels. If we detect rotation beginning at that point, we can follow it very closely, and as soon as it starts to descend towards the surface, we can issue warnings in advance.
Good. Do you have to know the temperature at the location at different levels also, or would that help you if you had that?
It would help, but it's not critical. Okay. Radar provides us with a good portion of the data that we need to look at when we're trying to evaluate a storm's severity. At that point, we pretty much know that in that storm, temperatures are quite warm because that that updraft is moving upward fast into that thunderstorm. So we know that the air is warmer than the surrounding air. And beyond that, radar is probably our best tool at telling us what exactly is happening within that storm.
How does your spotters out across the field, how does your spotters tie in with the NEXRAD system?
Well, first of all, spotters are critical to our job in Norman. We have a lot of tools such as NEXRAD and other types of radar, but we still rely critically on spotters to tell us what's happening under that storm. Radar will give us a good idea of what's happening, but we're never sure until a spotter sees it and reports it back to us. With the advent of NEXRAD, we will still need spotters because NEXRAD is just a tool like the other radars that we've had over the past few years. It's a better tool, but it's still not perfect, and it has limitations. So for that reason, we still need spotters to go out and track those storms and to tell us and to tell the towns that they are associated with what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Can you detect hail with the NEXRAD?
Radar in general doesn't detect actual hail, but what it does detect is a higher return from that radar based on hail. We call it reflectivity, and that determines the amount of the radar energy that's returned back to the radar site, and it happens to be higher for hail than it is for rain. So the stronger the returns, the higher the likelihood for hail. And Doppler radar has the ability to measure how strong those winds are exiting the top of that storm, and we've found that the stronger the winds are at the top of that storm, exiting from that storm, it's usually correlated very well with the size of the hail. So there are some good clues we can get from radar as to how big that hail is.
Now you say you're going to initiate the NEXRAD this spring. Will you be able to actually utilize it this spring with helping people out in the state?
Yes.
Okay.
It will be an operational test. This is a test this spring being conducted by the Air Force. We're evaluating NEXRAD to see how it performs, if it helps us do our job better, and we will be using that information to help us with issuing warnings and with deploying spotters.
Okay. Have you folks at the National Weather Service actually worked with it, say last year, or is this
not with NEXRAD, but we have worked with Doppler radar, so we're very familiar with the radar in principle, and we have worked with some systems that are very similar to NEXRAD to give us some feel for what we're going to be doing this spring.
It sounds like to me, Bill, that you're going to actually be able to just look right in on the system now and tell exactly where everything is. Is that about the size of just kind of a 3D type effect?
We will be able to look at a lot of detail within that storm. Of course, one of the limitations with radar is the farther you get away from that radar, the poorer your resolution is of those small-scale features in the storm. But it will still be a big improvement over the radar we have now. And yes, we will be able to see a lot of the detail of what's happening in that storm, the updrafts, the downdrafts, any circulation that may be developing. So we do look forward to that increased amount of information to help us with our warnings.
Now, eventually, will we have NEXRADs all over the country, and will they be tied in with computers so you can work two computers against one storm?
Yes, there will be a network of NEXRAD Dopplers. In fact, the first one will be here in Oklahoma at Oklahoma City, or actually just east of Norman. And there will be several more throughout the state. One will be in Frederick, in southwest Oklahoma, and another near Enid, and there may be more. The final configuration is not yet solid, but I do know there will be at least 3 in the state.
Good.
Actually 4, because Tulsa will have one.
Oh, man, that's going to be great for Oklahoma, isn't it?
It sure is.
Bill, how do you explain the fact that we haven't had a lot of tornadoes in Oklahoma in the last couple of years? Is there any reasoning behind that?
It's primarily tied to the position of the jet stream. And of course, we know that from year to year, there's some fluctuation in where the jet stream is during the springtime. That's why some years are more active than others. Over the past couple of years, the jet stream has been unusually far to the north and west, and that's where the storm track has been, and that's where the wetter than normal seasons have been. Mm-hmm. We've had a ridge of high pressure in the upper atmosphere, basically over the central states. That's one reason why we've had the drought up farther north in the northern plains and in the Great Lakes region, and it's also why we've not had many severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. And even though the past couple of years have been quiet, there's no real way to predict what will happen in '89, unfortunately. It could be another quiet year. It could be a very active year. All we can do is prepare for the worst and just be ready no matter what happens.
Yeah, but we do have to have the jet stream then flowing over the state of Oklahoma to really activate some severe weather.
We can have severe storms without the jet stream, but the strong tornadic storms require strong winds in the middle and upper atmosphere.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that we're keying on now, because research has tended to show that it's when you have a combination of a lot of instability in the atmosphere and very strong winds which increase as you go up into the atmosphere, that's the environment that tends to produce supercell thunderstorms, which is the type that produces those big tornadoes.
Do you see the technology advancing quite a bit in the tornadic activity forecast in the near future?
I think that with Doppler radars across the country, we'll be getting more and more information about thunderstorms. Technology is increasing at a rapid pace everywhere, and I certainly think that will cross over into the field of meteorology and give us some new and exciting tools. Yes.
Okay. Bill, you say you were from Virginia and you haven't been in Oklahoma all that long. Is the other states as far along as we are in notifying people and educating people about tornadoes?
Probably on the average I'd have to say no, and that's because tornadoes just aren't the threat in Virginia where I grew up as they are out here. People in Virginia, of course, were more concerned about hurricanes. I lived along the coast, and we were quite used to that, similar to the way we're used to tornadoes out here. But I would say probably Oklahoma and the adjacent states where we see the most tornadoes are probably the most advanced, both in the technology that we have at the National Weather Service, in the advanced training and capabilities of spotters, and also in a very aggressive media, which insist on keeping the public fully informed of what's happening. Those three things together, I think, make Oklahoma and probably Texas and Kansas really stand out in severe weather preparation.
You were talking to me on the phone the other day about the training that we were going to be conducting on the spotters training has been advanced a little bit. Can you give us just a thumbnail? I know you can't go into great detail, but can you give us some of the highlights that's changed over, say, the last couple of years?
Sure. Spotters in Oklahoma have, for the last several years, been given a training course that teaches them the basics of tornado spotting. Well, it turns out, as with many things in life, things are more complicated than the simple rules that we've given so far, and I think that spotters in this state are ready for advanced concepts. They understand the basics. They want to know more to help tie in with some of the things they've seen in the field. So for that reason, we've developed a spotter training program that is more complex and focuses on more of the intricacies of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, rather than just saying, here's a type of storm that produces a tornado and here's what it looks like. I'm going to actually talk about 4 different types of storms that occur in the state, not just one, and show that each type may or may not have severe weather depending on how the atmosphere is that day, and some clues that as a spotter you can look for to help determine the severe weather potential of that storm.
I know you go all over the state doing these, Bill. How long will it take the National Weather Service in Norman to saturate the state with this new training? You can't do it in 1 year, can you?
No, it's going to take several years, probably. Several years, and it's going to take several programs at each location. Now, there's so much information that I really think that it's going to take 2 to 3 years of repeated listening to this information to really have it sink in and to really apply it in the field.
So what you people are trying to do then is keep the spotters in the field and your equipment in Norman about as closely as you possibly can.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Our overall goal is to have the most advanced technology and the most educated spotters and put that information together, and that will be the best service to the public.
Okay, now we've had several people to tell us that this is going to be a heavy year for the tornadoes. Let me put you on the spot and ask you, do y'all predict at the National Weather Service that we're going to have a heavy year here in Oklahoma?
We have not made any formal predictions, and I really can't say for sure what will happen. But since last year was such a record low year, it wouldn't take much of a severe weather season for it to be more active than last year. So I can say that, what we see right now coming up for the next few days, it looks potentially interesting. So only time will tell, but it certainly could be an active year.
We've got to get all those elements here in the state before it really we can tell, won't we?
Exactly.
Bill, I appreciate you coming by, and if you're ever back down in Murray County, stop by and see us.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Folks, the Sulphur Civil Defense will conduct a tornado educational class out at the Nutrition Center here in Sulphur on April the 6th at 11 a.m. Got some items that we'll be going over with those youngsters out there. Folks, we got here locally on a nice award yesterday after the Meat ID contest. We got that on tape, and we'll show that to you right after this commercial message.
Here are the real facts about heat pumps, told by people who really know.
A heat pump is one of the most versatile systems available today. I strongly recommend the installation of a heat pump, not only for the energy savings, but for the comfort that you can enjoy.
My customers are happy with their heat pumps because of the savings on their electric bill.
The modern heat pump is dependable and economical. It's a proven commodity.
The all-season heat pump is your best choice, and that's a fact.
Get your prescriptions filled fast and easy at Larry's Pharmacy, your full-line Health Mart store in Sulphur. Besides prescriptions, Larry's has a full line of Max Factor cosmetics, gifts and souvenirs, greeting cards, Russell Stover...
Job? Sure, I got a job. Want to know why? Famous grilled chicken breast sandwich. Gonna be the biggest thing since the cheeseburger, they tell me. I got a brother-in-law makes $1 million selling fried chicken. That's not good enough for Hart's. No, sir. We got a grill.
So why bother?
Because the customer goes someplace else is why I bother. You know what that's called?
Common sense?
Democracy. This is America. I'm the boss, and that's a grilled chicken sandwich. You're hired, kid.
Folks, we showed you some shots of the Murray County Meat ID contest over at Martic Food Locker yesterday. Pete Bird and Alan Richardson give Mr. Harold Oakley a nice certificate of appreciation after the Davis youngsters went through that yesterday. We got that on tape, so let's watch that now.
To make a presentation to Mr. Harold Oakley along with Alan Richardson. We want to present this award to Mr. Oakley and the Arctic Locker Plant for facilitating this meat identification contest for 36 consecutive years. It's quite an honor, quite a privilege on our part to have gotten to be a part of it. Mr. Oakley, on behalf of the school and the school kids, we love you and congratulations.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ellie.
Congratulations.
That means a lot to me. That means a lot. That ad goes with, I showed some while ago to of what the kids did in Ellie. I appreciate it. It's my pleasure.
35 years Harold's been involved in that, and we do appreciate him, and I know all the youngsters that went through there over the period of 35 years appreciate it. Also now, the Davis prom date has been set. It will be on April the 15th. The promenade will start at 6 p.m. The banquet will be at 7 p.m., and then the prom dance will be at 9 p.m. on the 15th. John Jameson will be hosting the Murray County 4-H Horse Club this Saturday. His ranch is out on Sunshine Road, about 3 miles north of Highway 7. It will be from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. John said they're going to have a little cookout, and John does cook some good hamburgers out there, folks. And then they will have a trail ride after that. If you'd like to get involved with the Murray County 4-H...
The air with Murray County Update, brought to you in part by Monjay.